Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 2nd of June. Indian Prime Minister Modi says we'll get growth back, promises more structural reforms. Pakistan's apex court rejects petition against acquittal of convicts in Daniel Pearl murder case. And Sri Lankans treated to country's first drive-in concert amid lockdown. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Tuesday that self-reliance will be India's priority in the face of coronavirus crisis and assured that economic growth will return soon as the country leaves behind lockdown period and enters unlock phase 1. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday said India will get its growth back and that the government has already started taking steps towards boosting the economy with eased guidelines under the Unlock Phase 1 strategy. Addressing the inaugural session of the Confederation of Indian Industry or CII's annual session to mark 125 years of its inception, the Prime Minister said that self-reliance will be India's priority in the face of coronavirus crisis. Prime Minister Modi offered the industry a new mantra of Made in India, Made for the World to focus on while developing new products and new ideas. India on Monday entered the first phase of the Unlock Plan announced by the centre which allows various economic activities to resume.
India will get its growth back. साथियों, कोरोना ने हमारी स्पीड जितनी भी धीमी की हो, लेकिन आज देश की सबसे बड़ी सच्चाई यही है कि भारत लॉकडाउन को पीछे छोड़कर अनलॉक फेज 1 में एंटर कर चुका है। अनलॉक फेज 1 में इकोनॉमी का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा खुल चुका है।
As India loosened lockdown to kickstart its ailing economy, 8,171 more COVID-19 cases were reported in the last 24 hours on Tuesday, taking the total number of cases to 198,706, including 97,581 active cases. Even migrant workers who were stranded across the country continue to return home, and coronavirus cases have risen steadily following their movement, forcing authorities in several parts of the country to seal borders with neighbouring states. 2 terrorists were neutralized by security forces in an encounter in Pulwama district of India's Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. The encounter broke out as security forces were conducting cordon and search operation in Tral area of Pulwama based on specific inputs. The incident comes a week after security forces averted a major terror attack by Pakistan-based terror groups in Pulwama after they neutralized improvised explosive device recovered in a car. Security forces has claimed that despite coronavirus pandemic, Pakistan has continued to aid terrorists to spread unrest in Kashmir Valley. Pakistan's Supreme Court on Monday rejected a petition filed by the Sindh government to suspend a High Court verdict that overturned the conviction of Al-Qaeda leader Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh and 3 others in the 2002 gruesome killing of American journalist Daniel Pearl. The court told the provincial government to provide solid evidence pertaining to the case.
Pakistan Supreme Court on Monday rejected a petition filed by the Sindh government to suspend a High Court verdict that overturned the conviction of Al-Qaeda leader Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh and 3 others in the 2002 kidnapping and murder of American journalist Daniel Pearl. The Sindh High Court had on April 2nd commuted the death sentence of Sheikh and 3 co-accused for abducting and beheading Pearl, a Wall Street Journal reporter, while he was in Pakistan investigating Islamist militants after the September 11 attacks. The High Court in its April verdict said Sheikh's role in the murder wasn't proven and he had already spent 18 years in jail awaiting the outcome of an appeal. The Supreme Court on Monday observed that the Sindh government, while seeking suspension of the judgment, cited irrelevant provisions and told it to provide solid evidence pertaining to Pearl's kidnapping. The apex court directed the counsel for the provincial government to provide the complete record of the trial court and adjourn the hearing for an indefinite period.
Moving on, small and medium businessmen, especially hoteliers and restaurant owners in Gilgit-Baltistan, are bearing the brunt of the lockdown imposed in the wake of rapid spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Small businessmen in the region allege discrimination by Islamabad, as some police officials have come and forced them to shut their businesses, while the situation remains different in Islamabad. Small and medium businessmen, especially hoteliers and restaurant owners, are suffering huge losses in the Gizar district of Pakistan-administered Gilgit-Baltistan, as they have been facing severe lockdown for over 3 months amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Gilgit-Baltistan is under Pakistan's forceful occupation, where the government hardly cares about the concerns of the people. The small businessmen in the region continue to allege discrimination by Islamabad.
सबसे बढ़कर मुश्किल ये है कि हमारे पास तकरीबन 6-7 मुलाजिम हैं। रोज़ाना के हिसाब से हम पेमेंट कर रहे हैं। 3.5 महीने हमारा बंद हो गया। 3.5 महीने से तकरीबन 4-5 लाख रुपये तो हम सिर्फ तनख्वाह में हमारा पे कर रहे हैं उनको। अभी तक तो हमने पे किया है, लेकिन इससे आगे हमारे पास पे करने की भी गुंजाइश नहीं। और वो लोग हमारे पास पड़े हुए हैं, बिल्कुल बेरोज़गार और गरीब लोग, वो कहाँ जाएंगे? हम तो वैसे भी गुजारा करेंगे, लेकिन हमारा मजदूर का मसला है। इसलिए हमें गवर्नमेंट जो है ना, हमारे कुछ माली मुआयनत करें या हमें कोई ऐसी चीज़ दिखाए कि हम इस तरह करें। बिल्कुल।
Gilgit-Baltistan, bordering China's Xinjiang region, has registered over 738 coronavirus cases, and the government has abruptly imposed lockdown, fearing an outbreak due to the poor medical facilities. Gilgit-Baltistan has been under Pakistan's illegal occupation for over 7 decades. A large number of people are unemployed, while some just manage to fetch the minimum amount required for sustenance. The coronavirus pandemic has also triggered poverty and destitution in the region. Moving on, the US Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, has sounded upbeat about the chances for peace talks starting between the Kabul government and the Taliban militant group. He, however, suggested further prisoner releases were needed first.
The US Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, sounded upbeat on Monday about the chances for peace talks starting between the Kabul government and the Taliban militant group, but suggested further prisoner releases were needed first. The US Ambassador Khalilzad, while speaking to reporters, also sought to play down an independent UN experts report that ties between the Taliban and Al-Qaeda remain close despite Taliban's pledge to cut such links. Khalilzad, who helped broker a February 29 US Taliban troop withdrawal agreement, said the Afghan government has freed 2,400 to 2,500 Taliban prisoners since the pact was reached, and the militant group has freed more than 400 government detainees in return. Under the US Taliban deal, to which the Afghan government was not a party, the United States committed to reduce its military footprint in Afghanistan to 8,600 troops by mid-July, and conditions permitting, to 0 by May 2021. US troop strength already is down to nearly 8,600, US and NATO officials said last week. Under the agreement, up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners and up to 1,000 government prisoners were to have been freed by March 10, when talks between the Kabul government and the Taliban were to have begun. Khalilzad said the United States was trying to help resolve the prisoner issue.
Despite social distancing guidelines in place in Sri Lanka to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, people managed to enjoy music performances recently as they attended a live music concert from the safety of their cars. Hundreds of vehicles parked into a busy venue in Colombo, where people were treated to 2 hours of live music.
Around 600 vehicles packed the tarmac of the city airport on the outskirts of Sri Lankan capital Colombo to enjoy the country's first drive-in concert recently. Despite having restrictions on social gatherings, people of Sri Lanka managed to enjoy the music performances as they attended the event from the safety of their cars. The 2-hour show, organized by two of the island's most popular young musicians, Bahatia and Santush, was also broadcast live on radio and television.
It's done under strict controls. So people were asking a lot of questions. Is this safe? Is this not safe? What's happening? I must say that the authorities came up with a proper plan. As you can see, the park, from the time that you come in, your safety is at utmost important.
The money from the sale of the tickets of the concert was promised to be donated to the President's Coronavirus Fund. The concert was announced on May 26 when strict lockdown restrictions were lifted throughout the island nation. Sri Lanka has recorded over 1,630 infections and at least 11 deaths due to the coronavirus so far.
India on Tuesday swung into action to prepare in the wake of cyclonic storm Nisarga, expected to make landfall along its western coast on Wednesday. It will be the second cyclone to strike India in 2 weeks and the first to hit the financial capital Mumbai in over a century.
Authorities in India's western Maharashtra and Gujarat provinces on Tuesday swung into action to prepare for cyclonic storm Nisarga in the Arabian Sea, expected to make landfall on Wednesday. India Meteorological Department sounded red alert for several parts of Maharashtra and warned that the cyclonic storm, with wind speeds in the range of up to 110 km per hour, will cross North Maharashtra and South Gujarat coasts on June 3rd, bringing in its wake heavy rains. National Disaster Response Force or NDRF said teams have been deployed in both the provinces to survey, evacuate people and tackle the situation in view of the impending adverse weather.
As the situation stands, the NDRF is deployed in both the states. 10 teams are in Maharashtra and 11 teams as of now are in Gujarat. But as we speak, Gujarat has asked for 5 more teams. So we are getting them airlifted from Punjab.
Cyclone Nisarga will be the second cyclone to strike India in 2 weeks and the first to hit the financial capital Mumbai in over a century.
Coronavirus has wreaked havoc in the lives of people across the globe as the number of cases continue to rise. Members of the Jain community in India's western Gujarat province chanted prayers to invoke the gods as they prayed for relief from the pandemic. Members of the Jain community in India's western Gujarat province chanted prayers to invoke the gods as they prayed for relief from coronavirus pandemic. As coronavirus is tightening its grip over the world, Jain devotees in western Rajkot city over the weekend were joined by devotees in Vadodara city and devotees across the world who were present through video conferencing in praying for the recovery of coronavirus patients.
ये जो मंत्र पूरे मंत्र की ऊर्जा है उससे ये कोरोना की जो महामारी है उसको दूर करने का ये एक प्रयास है और ये जो प्रयास है उसमें सिर्फ भारत ही नहीं बल्कि समग्र विश्व के देश अमेरिका यूरोप के सभी देश कनाडा न्यूजीलैंड सभी देश के लोग इस कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हुए हैं.
People in several parts of India continue to pray and sometimes even fast, seeking God's intervention and protection during the time of COVID crisis. India on May 30th extended its coronavirus lockdown until June 30 in high-risk zones, but permitted restaurants, malls and religious buildings to reopen elsewhere from June 8, despite a record high number of cases detected nationwide. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.